No! My name's Alex, also known as Paynos, and welcome to Sitting at the Red Lights in the middle of the floor at Formula Fast Karting in Milton Keynes. It's the first time I've been to this track, it's the first time my friend Rob here has been to this track too, and we thought we'd have a little session, a refresher after a long period of absence in karting. So we'd only been driving for about half a lap before the red flag. Don't ask me why there was a red. Maybe someone had died. Everything's still cold. Brakes are cold, tyres are cold. I know nothing about the track. I've not even looked at a track map up until this point or a YouTube video online, which is unlike me, but we both decided that we wanted to go into it completely blind. Baptism by fire, just learn as you go, and for some reason that's quite exciting sometimes. I'm trying to keep up with him, he's learning everything, and so am I, so there's no real pressure to do well. I do know we are on track with a few people. I know none of them. There was a couple of twin girls and a couple of lads who are out here trying to just throw some laps in. Karting's all about discovery. It's about finding your limits, the limits of the kart, and realizing, as Rob lets me past, that every single rental kart is different, and we'll find that out later on too. All the karts are, and this is global, worldwide. They're battered in completely different ways. As I whiff that corner up, they're completely different. Some of the tyres are brand new, some of the tyres are damaged. You know, the companies do the best they can to keep everything in working order, but it is really hard when you've constantly got completely random members of the public smashing your kit around, causing crashes, you know, having little bumps constantly, tapping walls. It's hard to keep in check of what things are bent. Like, they keep a good check on engine maintenance too, but sometimes some engines are just better than others. So as I let Rob pass here on the left to see how he's driving, have a listen. Something doesn't sound too superb with this kart at this point. I haven't heard anything until he slid past me. It does sound like something, either a flat tyre, a bent axle, or even engine knock. Something like that. There's part of the fun of go-karting, and motorsport in general. Things get bendy. So you have to learn to deal with it, especially at the slower corners. Can't really hear it there, but it is sounding a bit suspect. And even then, he does still seem to be gapping me a bit. As we come to a nice halt here.
Mine is making a horrible noise.
Is that what the knocking was? You broke it! No! Off he goes. That was the strongest soldier I've ever met. Though, these new torque gloves are kind of swaggy, but look at that. Look at the details, got a little YouTube URL there. 22.
21.
And a pay. Oh, isn't it beautiful? So, as we get going again, I point by Kiara, who is breathing down my neck the whole time. I can feel them getting closer, so I decide they're faster. I'm going to learn what I can from them. Alright, head down. And as you can hear from me here, sort of, I say, alright, head down, and then mumble something else. I've already decided that I'm going to put more effort in and try and catch as fast as possible. So, over the next few laps, I feel like I'm pretty good on the brakes, but some of the slow corners I'm really struggling, and some of the fast ones could definitely do with some tidying up. So, if you're new to karting, following someone quick is an absolute cheat code. You learn so much in such a short span of time. You learn braking points, you learn apexes, you learn little bits in the track that they're maybe avoiding that you don't know about, that don't have as much grip, or they're slipperier, or they have bumps. And like that, it's amazing how much putting a little bit of pressure on affects people in front of you, even if they're quite good. Say, it was doing it with me, and what I tend to find is you end up swapping around, and as soon as you get in front, the pressure gets a little bit too much, or you start looking behind you, and then as soon as you drop back, you can learn again, and you can copy what they're doing, and make it a little bit better. So you end up jostling forwards and backwards. Being in front in karting, especially leading a race, is actually quite a lot of pressure, and it's surprising how difficult it really is. And as we both make a mistake into the hairpin, we are joined by Kiara's twin sister, Elise, who at the present seems to be quicker than the both of us. So I'm instantly pointing them up the inside, saying, go ahead, after you, I'm just going to copy it and see how you go, as they're looking over their shoulder, but they don't have too much to worry about from me at the moment. We have a really good, intense little drive with all three of us, and immediately they start gapping me. So immediately I'm forced to step up my game, really start focusing on apexes, optimizing their corner speed, and seeing where they're messing up that I can capitalize on, which is not many places, unfortunately, for me. As they start disappearing a little bit, I realize that I am definitely a little bit better on the brakes, and I'm gaining here, but they start disappearing as soon as they get on the corner speed. And I know in karting you can blame weight, and if you're slower, the first thing people do in go-karting is say, oh well, you're lighter than me. It's sort of an excuse, but not really at the same time, so you can sort of say that, you know, they're lighter than me, but it's not going to fly if you're out with the boys and you're just moaning about your weight the whole time. And talking about braking, as we come down the straight, I nearly take the both of them out, having a little Code Brown moment there. It happens a few times in karting, especially since no brake lights, and in racing in general, you've really got to be on the ball of when people are braking, especially when you're quite close to them. It can sometimes take you by surprise. You never know. Someone could just be braking earlier than normal, they could be battling, someone could be brake checking the other person. You don't know. You have to be on the ball. And there are some fun moments involving slight bits of contact on occasion, hopefully not on purpose. At this point, I do get pointed through, and the first mission when you overtake or you get pointed through is not to mess up the first braking zone and immediately get overtaken again. So we sort of do, but manage to hold it together. And at this point, it's head down and try and get away if possible. If possible being the absolute keyword here. However, 5 or 6 laps later, Kiara's back through, and I'm discovering that one of the trickiest things in karting is when you're fighting with someone and you're both good at different bits of the circuit. Say, I'm good at the braking zones and slow speed corners, and then they're good at high speed corners and they get away down the straights. It means that you catch at different points of the circuit, and then if you get past them, then they'll come straight back past you. It creates really interesting little battles. Like here, I'm really catching in that hairpin, and then as soon as they get back on the power, they are just gone. And look who we have here in the unmistakable Torque branded fluorescent yellow racing gloves. We have Mr. Cox, who we're all very familiar with, who is in a brand new go-kart and points us both through. He had a complete nightmare this race with a kart that was fast and then exploded, and then with a go-kart that was very slow. So I've been there myself. It's annoying but hilarious at the same time, trying to keep up with people in a kart that you know is broken. It develops a skill that I believe is invaluable in life, which is being able to laugh at yourself with your own misfortune when something bad happens, like the tyres are awful, your engine is just desperately underpowered, something's slapping around or broken. And don't forget that you can go back into the pits and ask for a new go-kart if this does happen at a random karting track. Even if they seem a little bit annoyed at you, or you can still ask, it doesn't matter. And the luck of the draw is you might come out with an even worse go-kart than you came in with. But it's the risk you'll have to take. And it makes for a bit of entertaining variety, and as much as it's frustrating, you've got to see it as a bit of fun. As we come past in the faster bit of the track, a slightly slower driver, I discover the rule of what you're looking at you will probably drive into. And this is something that racing, karting and motorsport does teach you over time. If someone is slow or if someone is crashed, don't look at them as you're driving past, because what tends to happen is you, even at a microscopic level, you drive towards them. You angle your body slightly to where you're going, so your hands and your brain, the rest of you follows. And it's what causes a lot of accidents, even on the road. Like, staring at something that you shouldn't hit makes you actually much more likely to hit it yourself. So my philosophical quote of the day, and I feel like it works metaphorically for lots of areas of life, is look at where you want to go, not at what you do not want to hit. And you can quote that. That's Alex Payne. Someone else has definitely said that before, but Alex Payne said it first, right? Or said it better. I think better. So have a think about that whilst you enjoy the last lap of the day.
See that backfire. They were sick. They were the only reason I was only getting the fresh job. Thank you, mate.
My leg was sore, so...
Say again?
My leg was sore, and that's why I wasn't fast.
Mine wasn't. My leg was sick.